Social media reports have led to rumors that China's President Xi Jinping has been placed under house arrest by the People's Liberation Army. The fires of the rumor were stoked by human rights activist Jennifer Chang, who tweeted a video of PLA vehicles heading to Beijing and furthered the rumor that the president was under house arrest. Now many outlets are disputing this claim, including noted China expert and frequent Newsmax guest Chang, the author of The Coming Collapse of China. He joins us now. Gordon, great to have you with us. You've been very vocal this morning on this very point. Tell us what you're seeing rather than what you're not seeing.
We've seen some pretty unusual and abnormal events over the last 3 days, Kilmini. So, for instance, on Wednesday, China canceled 60% of its flights. Now, the Chinese military controls Chinese airspace. Also, at the same time, bus and high-speed rail traffic in and out of Beijing was also canceled. And there have been that report, the video you mentioned, of a column of People's Liberation Army vehicles, some 80 kilometers long, heading to Beijing. There's been a lot of smoke. That says there is a fire somewhere. We don't think that there has actually been a coup, but at this point, there have been some extremely troubling developments at the top of the Communist Party, as well as the top of the People's Liberation Army, which reports to the party. So something is terribly wrong.
If true, Gordon, it would be an incredibly stunning development. So even for the accusation, or I guess the thought to be there, that the Chinese president could be under house arrest, I mean, explain to us what the political climate is in China right now.
Xi Jinping has jailed 3 figures, some of them for life sentences. So that by itself roils the situation. But the mere fact that someone is trying to destabilize the regime, and that's really, I think, the source of these rumors, says that at this point, the regime itself is going through turmoil. They're going to have their 20th National Congress, which starts on the 16th of next month, and that's where Xi Jinping either gets or doesn't get his unprecedented 3rd term as general secretary of the party, in other words, China's ruler. And that means, I think, that we see some senior figures figure that they can try to give Xi Jinping a punch in the gut before then.
Would it be abnormal in this instance? You would think that a rumor that the Chinese leader who projects such strength would be under house arrest. I mean, would it be abnormal for them to issue a statement on this saying this isn't true?
Yeah, they won't issue a statement on that. That's not the Communist Party style. We saw something very similar, Kilmini, in 2015 when there were reports of armored vehicles in Beijing, and those reports are generally believed to be untrue. But nonetheless, the Communist Party is not going to admit to the Chinese people about instability unless it is completely obvious and they have no choice but to. And we're really not at that stage yet.
Gordon Chang, we appreciate that, and we will, of course, continue to follow those developments. Thank you.
Thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They
let me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
for real people.